I like the fact that this new Matilda is technically a remake. That I how can I say this? You know, when people are like, "Oh, there's a new remake," and like this is his own separate thing, and it tries to copy as much as possible from the OG because they get their cold feet and they're like, "Oh no, we want to stay a little bit closer to the original."
Yeah.
Shit like that. This one felt like, how can I say? It felt like as someone who actually like does plays and like enjoys like musicals, looked at the OG script and said, "Okay, I'm gonna keep the whimsicalness."
You do know it was a musical on Broadway, right?
Oh,
Like this is an adaptation of a Broadway musical.
listen, I only saw the Danny DeVito movie, and that's it.
not Broadway, but England. Like they're I forget what they call it, but they're
so it's not even good Broadway. Keon, it's been many years since we've been watching movies and all this other stuff. And Hollywood has been doing its combos of re-releases. But we just saw something that is technically a re-release, technically a remake, but it stands out like completely by itself. Like compared to the OG. Do you care to tell them what it is?
I agree. And this movie that we're talking about is Matilda. The original came out in 1996 and had Danny DeVito.
I just learned this. It was originally a what?
Yeah, this movie was originally a play in, I don't know, not Broadway, the English version, UK version of Broadway.
They played it down in the streets.
Now it's on the telly.
Now it's on the telly.
And so this movie I find incredible because not only it's based off of like everyone's like favorite childhood movie that's like full of whimsy and it's exciting and everything like that. But I love this in particular because the musical that this is based off of that had a run in whatever the UK version of Broadway is was written, all the music was written by Tim Minchin. Do you know who Tim Minchin is?
No.
Not at all?
Is he a powerhouse or are they a powerhouse I just know nothing about?
Yes. He at the like when Bo Burnham was like coming up was one of those people that was making all of these ridiculous like musical joking songs. And he was huge in the UK, and I think he still is. I don't know if he tours too much recently, but primarily, I love the fact that this musical goes out of its way to have, you can feel his cleverness in the music, even though it's not straight up a Tim Minchin song, because Tim Minchin songs are really crass, and like, really, if you listen to them, you're just like, holy moly, like, I can't believe someone made this one. Like, there's one about gingers that's very good. He's ginger.
Awesome.
And it's, I think it's hilarious. And you couldn't make that song in this, of course, but you feel that not only cleverness of his writing style, but also the ability that he's taking all of these ideas about children and how they might see the world and applying it to this movie, because presumably most people would either be above like, I don't know, 15 if they're watching this movie, or they took their kids to go see it on whatever, when you're the UK version of Broadway, I'm just gonna call it Broadway, whatever it is, the musical place, that like, they're taking their kids there, so there's definitely something for the adult audience, and watching it just made, I'm gonna be honest, I like started tearing up in the beginning and it didn't go away till like the end.
Dude, it mostly because like unlike the original movie, I'm gonna go based off the movie because I know nothing about this play.
Because, well, it's funny because it's based off of the Roald Dahl book, but I don't think anybody thought of like, oh, an adaptation of the book. It's like, no, this is like we're thinking of the movie from '96.
Yeah, it's even on the title. It's Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical, and like in the original, his name wasn't even near it.
No,
it was Danny. It was Danny DeVito's Matilda or something like that. Not even Danny DeVito's name was under it. That's another thing. A lot of people didn't know that Danny DeVito directed the OG.
Wait, did he really?
Yeah, he directed the original Matilda.
Oh, I had no idea at all.
He has a very whimsical style of directing, which like really helped, especially with Danny DeVito's history of being like a stage actor first and whatnot. It's really cool. It's really cool.
I had no idea. That's so nice. I mean,
neat.
like, man, that makes me recontextualize all of Danny DeVito's work by knowing that like, because that movie, the original movie, is so incredible to me of how much it is. In similar, like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was like the first, in my opinion, like understanding, I actually don't know, but like Roald Dahl adaptation that has so much in its like, look it up, that they were on the back foot every step of the production to being like they had like no budget in comparison to what they were trying to achieve. If you look at like when they walk into the room where everything's edible, like you can see the walls and like this part, like the chocolate river looks like water with like food coloring in it.
It's just brown water. And that's it,
and apparently there was like so much stuff that they're just trying to make it work, but you get sucked into it just because of how like whimsical and fun it is. And so for them to then do Matilda, it has that same charm of like, this is a whimsical place where like there's this girl, she's dealing with her family, and I didn't even realize that Danny DeVito would have put that much like attitude and style into it to be so fun that like when the magical stuff happens, primarily the child actors in that first movie are just like the entire time like, whoa, this thing's happening, and they're like looking off screen, and I can only imagine like Danny DeVito's like, something really cool's happening, isn't that cool? Isn't this great? And they're like, oh my god, whoa. Like
And now Matilda, this scene, it's trash. You're sad and everything is just trash. Like he goes into the entire thing. So this is what I find funny about this new Matilda is that, again, I don't know why I'm tearing up the new the Hollywood execs or whatever, but I feel like, let's bring back Danny DeVito or something like that. It's the fact that this one truly separated itself, like 100%, like separated itself. I was talking to people on my Twitch channel and whatnot. One of them brought it up. It's like, I saw the Matilda. I was like, oh really? How do you like Danny DeVito? And they were like, what? Like, what do you mean? Oh, there's a new. And the fact that
on Netflix it didn't even get much. Like, I just saw it show up. I was like, no way, they actually made one, and I didn't expect much. But oh my god, like
complete crime, not like advertising it more, or making more about it, because like the just the amount of work put into it, the fact that like all the kids know their choreography and they're not adults, they're just like doing the
child actors in this blew me away. That I was like,
they're really, really good.
Because it's one thing to be like, oh, here the Matilda child actress is really great, and they're going to lead through the whole movie. Every single child on screen was like so fun to watch, and like they were having a great time, and like they're dancing. I was just like, this is. I don't even know how you expect that much from a child, and they deliver. Like, they're that good.
Exactly. The kids felt like tiny adults dealing with crappy adult situations in kid ways. Which does that make sense?
Like,
like it's like, oh, here's this grand scheme of thing. Oh, what if, I don't know, maybe I should just finish the fucking cake or something. Just like dealing with stuff like that and whatnot is really cool.
Well, especially that it's like, because it's a Roald Dahl book, it's meant to be a storybook where there's minimal, the logic in it is very whimsical and silly. But I do like the original Matilda, like from '96. I'm pretty sure it was like an American-made movie. Where, I mean, it's Danny DeVito. Like, it was made here, all American actors. Roald Dahl is from the UK, so for them to like take it back and make this musical adaptation of it is not only them just being like, this is ours, give it back, but also that I find it incredible that a lot of the actors in there, like, God, they did such a good job. And I mean, case in point, of course, Emma Thompson, who plays Mrs. Trunchbull.
She was so good.
Yep.
So this movie has quite a bit. The music, fantastic. Like everything about it, really good. The talent, like you said, really good. Alicia, I can't say her last name. Weir, W-E-I-R.
Yeah.
She was Matilda in that.
Oh yeah.
Her entire performance throughout everything, and how she just reacted to her own parents and just how scummy they are.
Yeah.
And everything. I feel like a lot of range was shown between like being mad at her parents and like wanting to like it's vengeance against them at a certain point, and showing like just love and understanding towards I forgot her name, Miss Honey.
Yeah.
Who was like, oh my god, first of all, Lashana Lynch.
Yep.
Amazing. She was in Woman King as well.
I saw that on the IMDb. Yeah.
So much cool shit from her. Emma Thompson though.
Yeah.
One of my favorite shots is from her. Is she's singing her song in her office about like how like, oh, back in the day, like I used to be like an Olympian and like I was so good, and best shot, she does the toss and the camera just hangs on to her, and she's just like talking to the camera like this, so and there I was, and it was the moment of my life, and like it's literally showing it like how it just like losing grip almost it feels. A lot of cool stuff in it. A lot of magical stuff. That's, I don't know why, but that shot's the one that like stuck out to me the most.
Yeah.
Because she's just looking at it. It almost felt like Les Mis.
Yeah.
Les Mis kind of like but the emotions that like the talent brought. And I guess it has to do with the cinematography being right in their faces the entire time.
Which apparently, so the cinematographer's name is Tat Radcliffe. Like,
They worked in Queen and Slim, another great film
Yep.
that I really liked.
Yeah, and it's funny because I googled it to be like, are they related at all to Daniel Radcliffe? Not, I might not have researched enough, but basically everything that I saw was like, they not at all, not even remotely related whatsoever.
There's not even a picture of his on IMDb.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly,
this, I don't know what's up with these cinematographers
Which
not wanting their pictures taken.
Yeah, which I found a photo of him, and it's so funny because it looks like cool and stylized, but it legitimately looks like a PA took it on the set of something while he's like doing his job and just like looking. It's so funny. Yeah. But yeah, no, the cinematography is exquisite, but I find it incredible that like so Tim Minchin, a lot of the stuff that he writes, and I know that he didn't write like the movie, you know, he wrote the music. He didn't write like the actual, all of the other stuff for the musical, like the screenplay and stuff. But a lot of the stuff that he usually talks about in his music comes across, which is the idea of like, I hate to say it, but it's like the r/ like I'm 14 and this is deep kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Where it's just like, well, with facts and logic, you can understand this and that, which comes across that like with Miss Trunchbull.
Yeah.
That she is saying like, oh, I'm so important because I was an Olympian, but she was an Olympian. That has nothing to do with teaching children.
Nothing to do with in education. Nothing to do with like you should be lucky enough to have a like have a gym teacher like job there.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
Yeah. And so with that, like, they're taking all of this logic and like twisting it to say like, oh, she's a person of status, but it's like not that kind of status.
Not whatsoever.
Like,
yeah,
exactly. You don't need any of those skills to be a headmistress at a school. But also the fact that like all of the children throughout the movie, you get those moments of like they're taking a horrible situation that to any adult would be like, this is child abuse, and they're like using a whimsical way of addressing it to be like, oh, we're getting back at her, instead of like, you should call the police.
You mean to tell me when she grabbed that girl by the pigtails and flung her out of the
I love that was such a huge moment in the like 1996 version.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's like 2 seconds. She's just like, what did I tell you about pigtails? Swings her, is like, make sure she's not dead.
Yeah, because in the original, the original one, again, it was slightly more grounded in reality. No matter how whimsical like it was, or how much like mental powers she had in that one, or whatever. But the pigtail scene, it felt a little bit more graphic due to like her expression and everything, and like the kids freaking out and whatnot. And this one, it was just like, I don't like it. And just like, dude, the amount of money that I would have paid to be on that set on that day just to see that live. Oh my gosh.
That, and there's like, it feels like there's more physics to it, like you're throwing a the hammer, where she's like, you can feel her like center mass like moving away from her as she's like swinging the child. It's incredible.
I want to know what else she has done to those poor kids. She just grabbed them by the scruff and like slam them together.
It's the chokey. You send them to the chokey, dude.
Oh my god. So the chokey was a lot more horrifying to me than in the original one.
Seriously.
In the original, it just made it seem like, oh, it's a closet with knives jetting out, and like you're supposed to stay there still, or you might get cut. And,
it's like an Iron Maiden.
It's an Iron Maiden, basically. And this one, it's a spot in the woods that no one knows where it is.
Yeah.
They lock you in. You stay there for it's criminal torture.
Oh,
like literally,
yeah,
like it's Guantanamo like type style stuff.
Yeah.
What do you do as an Olympian to go through that?
I have no idea. I mean, like, that's what I find funny is that it's similar when you have anybody that's done something like that's really hard, which like you want to instill a bit of that like not distinctiveness, what do you call it, like that stick-to-itiveness to like children, to be like, hey, you can achieve what you want if you just like keep doing this thing, you know, you stick to it, you have discipline. That was it. Like you yourself have discipline. But like for her to go out of her way to like show, to do that, to say like, to have discipline, I know what discipline is because I did the hammer throw, and so now I'm gonna, and she just like, you can tell there's literally nothing but contempt for the children. Like she calls them nothing but maggots, and I appreciate the fact that does not, she's a static character that doesn't change. In the way that when you're trying to teach someone something, there's the moment that if they get it, you're like, whoa, you did it, like you know, she consistently does what's called moving the goalpost. Do you know?
Yes, absolutely. A huge example was the cake eating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where every last crumb Yeah.
Every last crumb. Oh, that was just one cake. We got so many. It's like, here's the other course. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And like, even like the kids are like, bullshit.
Yeah. Well, Matilda especially, I appreciate that she's just rebellious. It's just like, you don't have to take this. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
she's reasonably rebellious. Reasonably.
Yeah.
Like, just, how can I say this? It's rare where the main character is the, how can I say, is the like reasonable one. Does that make sense? Where like the main character wants us to do something grandiose to get to reason.
Yeah,
This one just, I understand what reason is. No one around me is doing it.
Yeah.
What is going on? And like I want to make things right, like in her one song in the beginning.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, nice.
And it's great that like we said with the like pigtail throwing and with the cake is that those are treated as just stuff that happens, you know.
Yeah.
They're not milestones in the story like in the original you know, the 96 one. That it's interesting to me how much they've elevated every part of the story, because the very first thing you see is like a bunch of these like glamour shots of babies and their parents like doting on them. They're like, oh, you could do anything and you're a miracle and I'll take a photo of it. It's
you're
amazing.
so special to me. You're just not. You're not like any other baby. I swear. Yeah.
And then we go to the I forgot what their last names were. The worm something. The
Wormwoods.
Wormwoods.
Wormwood.
And then they're just like, I can't be pregnant, and she's literally has like a bowling ball under.
I cannot be pregnant. It's like, but ma'am, you're going through labor right now.
Yeah.
What do you? She's like,
Exactly.
it's so bad. And then the worst part, when she does give birth, it's like, what do you mean it's not a boy?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God. He's like, well, the balloon says it's a boy.
What? But that's
Yeah.
when the doctor was like, it's
so
a
bad.
beautiful girl. It was like,
Yeah, and she's
the
perfect in
balloon-
every way.
It's- she's perfect in every way, but the balloon says boy and his giant fake fucking teeth and shit.
Oh my
So
God.
good.
And I love that like over Matilda's like getting back at her parents, her dad eventually looks like an Oompa Loompa.
Her dad ends up being like a bad Joker. Like he's not good at being the Joker.
Yeah.
Like he just learned about him and said, I want to dedicate my life to him.
Yeah, exactly. And then he puts on the hat. Oh God.
You don't like books, Batman? Or sorry, you do like books, Batman? So it's like,
Well, I'll give you a book you'll never forget.
literally doing like bullishly like
Yeah, like smacks the
schoolyard bully shit. It's
Yeah.
like, bro, what? You really aren't nothing.
when he smacks the books out of her hand. I'm like, oh my God, this is infuriating. But I get that you're supposed to hate these characters.
So much, so much. Oh my God! And they keep on. Everyone solidifies who they are and keep on doing it.
Yeah,
Kinda
like static characters.
Exactly. Like we're like, oh, I slapped your book. Next time I'm gonna rip it. Next time,
Yeah.
I just sewed two cars together to make them seem like one car and sold it to this asshole and keep on doing it. They just keep on digging their own graves and shit. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, and similarly, that it just the cartoonish nature of the entire movie is not only incredible, just because the cinematography makes it like so fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
But they draw out a lot of like imagery, like straight up. The school not only literally looks like a prison with like bars, but also it pulls from, in my opinion, the Another Brick in the Wall music video.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, good call on that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. That they're wearing what seems like the exact same gray uniforms. It looks like a prison. They're meant to be like trudging along. But the best part about it is that like the kids are intimidated, of course. Like all of them are just like, well, don't do that or you'll go to the chokey. But at the end of the day, like all of them still have this whimsy about them that like even in light of this terrible situation, they put on a dance number to teach you about it using the alphabet. And it's like so fun and cheery, even though it's horrible.
Yeah, I want to get to the music in a little bit, but like the explanation is like, oh, these are the ABCs, the rules of this place, and you want to stick by them like the entire thing. I like that so everyone was focused on the one mean teacher and the one nice teacher.
Yeah.
All the other teachers were just like the what was it, the graduation garb? Did you notice?
Yeah. I thought that they were there for a ceremony. It turns out they wear that every day.
They just wore like a classic, like a cartoon teacher that has like their thing around there, and they still have their diploma holding onto it. It's like this is
cap
why you
and
should,
gown.
basically exact same thing. But no, to me it felt like there was a good chemistry between the action directing and the cinematography, where a lot going back to the music numbers, where when they bust out of the hallway and they're like boom, bah, and everyone is like going at it. the fact that they could have very easily just said, oh, just keep it simple, close ups when they're singing and stuff like that, kind of like Les Mis again. Yeah. I don't know why, but I'm gonna keep on going to Les Mis.
You gotta be in your bonnet for Les Mis.
Dude, Les Mis was okay. That's the thing. Like, I like the music in it.
Sure.
It's just the cinematography and everything wasn't as grandiose as this one was. Where, for example, the imagery when the kids were walking away and there's that statue just pointing at them with like a lance, like about to get them and shit like that. Like, stuff like that is super neat. The fact that, like, oh, here's like, how can I say? Here's the world and let's show the most of it. Show all of it almost, which is, it's nice. A lot of people don't do that anymore. Why?
Yeah, well, and especially that the set design, like we were talking about, but also all of the locations they go to. That like, there's that cool little library van cart thing.
Yeah, dude. Was she in the original movie? I don't remember that character.
Or maybe not. I honestly don't remember. I think she actually goes to a library.
Yeah. Because like this librarian character, who's how can I say? I almost wanted to link her to us, the viewer, where we're being told this story and like how can I say, even when Matilda goes back to her and is telling her about the story about the couple who are like what are they called, trapeze artists,
the acrobat and the escapologist,
the escapologist, the great escapist or something like that, and like telling her that story, making it relate to her, like what's happening to her, even though it was more relatable to what was happening to Miss Honey, which is like, oh, it's so.
Spoilers coming up.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
We can put a spoiler thing at the beginning of the video.
Good.
But seriously, like, I agree that that it elevates it. Instead of her going to a library that could look stuffy and whatever, or you'd have to build an entire library, they're like, here's a cute little van where she can just go and escape, and we can move it to these fun locations where she's like, hey, tomorrow I'm at the lake, and the day after I'm going to the windmill where there's a windmill.
She's always changing locations for some reason. I think she lives in that van and she can't legally stay in certain places like for too long. It's like, hey, today I'm gonna be here, today I'm gonna be there.
It reminded me of, I don't know if this was, I don't remember the name of it, but there was a game we used to play in like computer lab as kids called like Ice Cream Truck Simulator or something, where you'd like make a route for yourself of like the most like min-max way of getting the most like money as an ice cream truck in this small town. And it felt like that, where it's just like, oh, she's like, oh, well, you know, I can't be one place every day. There's kids everywhere that need books, so I'll go wherever, even though we see no other children at that library.
Children, just her telling this awesome story about the escapist and a trapeze artist.
God, it's so good. And it's incredible for the fact that, like, while she's telling the story, she's like, oh, I like and dislike the fact that she's coming up with this story, and
well, she wants to be a writer.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, maybe I can write my own stories. But I did want that more. I wanted her to be coming up with a story, that something that they do in the movie that is pretty obvious for a lot of people that do make art, but also for people that like deal with children, is that a child isn't going to tell you, well, right now I'm dealing with a lot of emotional baggage because I failed my test. You know, they're not going to say that. Yeah. Especially when they're like, I don't know, 6 years old or however they're supposed to be. So when she's telling the story, it is straight up her saying like, hey, I'm being abused and I have no other way of like telling an adult because I don't feel like I don't have the verbiage or the words or anything to say it. And so for her to tell that story, in my mind, I was like, wow, this is great to show that a child is using the vocab that she has or her own creativity to illustrate how she's being like treated, and especially that it follows her life. Like she gets thrown in her room and it just like does like a match cut to stuff.
It even how can I say, there's borderline direct correlations between how she's feeling on that moment and why she's telling that portion of the story.
Exactly,
which is great.
And that's great because that's like child psychology in a way, that like it goes over, like kids don't know how to verbalize some of this stuff, so we need to give them the tools. And I appreciate that the librarian, straight up, when something like really bad happens, she's like, we should call the police.
We need to call the police.
Like, let's do it right now. This is bad. She's like, it's just a story. And I'm like, is it though?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think you should still call them or something.
Maybe file a small report, please.
The fact that your parents' bar looks better than your room upstairs is a little messed up.
And they got those big old couches that they sit on all the time.
How can I say, their entire house said, oh, I used to live in Florida for like a little bit, and now we're here in the cold weather. So
I did kind of feel at home seeing the like what they were wearing. I'm like, that I know people that wear that. Yeah, exactly. Jeez. Yeah, so that and of course like all the set design is so elevated, but it also feeds in the fact that like something that I love in writing a lot of the time is when they use the setting and our understanding of our reality versus their reality to then either subvert or make you think that something's you wouldn't think that something was going to happen because it's like, well, in my reality that doesn't happen. So case in point, when they do the Escapologist and the Acrobat story about like we're going to go over the woman on fire going over a pit with snakes and sharks and spiky objects,
wearing dynamite on her head.
Oh yeah, in her hair. To the what was it, escapologist who's trapped in a box.
Yeah.
And then so in our mind it's just like that's hilarious and like ridiculous and that would never happen. Yeah. And then so spoilers right now. Exactly. That it does, and that's the backstory for Miss Honey, and that's what was good for the story. But for me, I don't know. I don't think it like invalidates the fact that she's telling a story that is like, hey, I'm kind of being abused, but I don't know how to say it. But at the same time, it then shifts it to be like, oh, here's someone that's going through or has gone through the same thing that I have. Yeah. And now I can definitely empathize. But also that we wouldn't know that like this is something in this universe that could happen. Having an escapologist, whatever, you know?
Having a scenario described by a kid who just keeps on adding horrible crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of just like her life. It just keeps on adding, even though the story is told like a kid, and then there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this. But the fact is, like, how can I say? Because it's her, you know, she's smarter than the average kid, I guess. It just comes across more like how can I say? The words are kid-like, but the scenario isn't.
Exactly.
The whole thing is about what is fair. It is the fact that she cannot escape the unfairness that has been given to her, and you know that she's trying to get away, even though there's a clear sign view. There's a contract. You have to do the contract. It's like, why?
Worst. And especially that she's telling, and I love that in her mind she kind of gets the parallels between them, that she's making up this story, and so she puts Miss Trunchbull in the story when in reality the story is also about Miss Trunchbull. And that like it's coming to her. And I do agree that maybe it might not have happened in their universe, that there was this big feat that they were going to do, and the escapologist and whatever, that it could, that all of that could have been fabrication, and that the only part that did happen is like, spoilers, the Miss Honey's mother died doing something. The father took care of her, and the father found out about whatever was happening with Miss Trunchbull, went to go confront her, and presumably was killed by Miss Trunchbull. And then she got put in Miss Trunchbull's care, and it was a horrible, awful, terrible thing.
The how can I say, the cut where she's like, I love you, child, and like embraces her. The man of her creation in her story just comes to swoop her away and like, I'm here to save you. It's goddamn, it's way too powerful for something that I didn't even see coming. Honestly, I didn't. Out of all the whimsicalness that I already had, I did not expect this dream sequence to like be a pseudo reality type thing to like move on.
And it plays into the fact that like all these stories are a comfort for her, you know? She can get away, like escapism. But then for in the story, the father figure to like be like, I would never hurt you or do anything bad to you, and then to like sweep her away. It just feeds into the fact that like this is all a coping mechanism for a terrible situation.
The how can I say, the unrealistic scenarios is being saved by someone.
Which is sad that in her mind, like, another unrealistic scenario is for her dad to love her, like, kind of, if you think about it.
I mean, she never felt it.
She never felt
like,
wouldn't this be great if this happened in the world, maybe?
Shut up, boy, I'm watching the football.
I forgot she keeps calling her boy.
Calling her boy out of nowhere. It's like she was raised by Kratos, who owns a car dealership, and it isn't good at it.
Oh my god. And that he comes home and he's just like, I found 2 luxury cars. One's got smashed up in the front, other smashed up in the back, so now I just need to sew them together and it'll be fine. And they're like, you sure that's how that works?
Yep. And the mom is just egging the mom, is like, oh, you're so smart, so smart. And she's like, but that isn't right. All of them just, what?
And for the fact that like Matilda the entire time just has a very distinct idea of right and wrong.
Yeah.
And that I love the fact that like she's going to school and then she's just like, well, if they're mean, I'll just be mean back. And it's just like, you shouldn't think that way.
Yeah.
But also that when I love that the librarian is just like, well, watch out for the headmistress. She can be mean. Or like, she's dangerous, and she's like, I'm dangerous too.
Yeah,
like,
I can be dangerous too.
Yeah, and then she has her entire song that gets several reprises throughout the movie of like, you don't need to grin and bear it. Like that's like the piece in there. It's just like you need to go rebel in ways.
The original, not the original, the song when they're at the school, when they're first walking into the school and like the ABCs. Before that part, there was pieces of the song gave me "This Is the End" by the Lion King. What was the name of that song? Scar's song.
Oh, Be Prepared.
Be prepared. Yeah. Why did I say this is the end?
I have no idea.
Be prepared. This is, I don't know. Anyways,
sure.
It gave me that type of vibe of just like that dreadfulness, that like, oh god, get ready for this crap.
Yeah, no, they definitely do an incredible job with the music of like, not even the songs. The songs are amazing, but like the motifs throughout where you just feel this dread and then you feel this happy moment. And man, I gotta tell you that song about When I Grow Up, that killed me, because it's so nice that not only the children are singing like their entire attitude about it is that they're just like, when I grow up, I'll be able to reach branches I can't now, so I can climb trees better. Yeah,
like small little simple stuff. Like it starts off with like where she's like looking over and like somebody's trying to come up to the tree, trying to climb it up, and her friends are already up there.
Yeah,
and like it's simple tiny little dreams that these kids have.
But also that literally none of them, because why would they think about like, I'll be able to get a car that I like, or I'll be able to do this. It's all about like, I want to be able to have the tools that I don't have now, so I can do the fun things I want to do, because that's all I care about.
Escapism.
Exactly.
It's just a way to get out. Just anything to get away from women who can punt children from across the school and stuff like that. Anything away from this.
And to that point, they then like, as it like evolves the song, it shows that they're also talking about like, I'll be able to do the things that are good. You know?
Yes. Like a lot of these, it's how can I say this? It feels like all these kids have gone through what Matilda is going through.
Yeah, something bad.
Anything. Any of these kids have their own problems. Matilda, she just has a little bit of something in her. Yeah. Telekinesis, a little bit of something in her to like help her just ever so slightly compared to these kids. But even these kids have feats of their own. Yeah. Like the one kid being able to finish the cake, the one kid being able, all the kids reuniting and being able to agree, oh no, he was sleeping there.
Yeah.
For sure, he was sleeping there and he was like, oh, what happened? So why are you covered in everyone's coats? Also, everyone gave you their coat. Why is everyone still wearing their coats?
They had their spare coat. They had their double coat.
Their double coats that they just like.
I don't pretend to understand the UK. So
me neither. They just love to be miserable over there.
Double coats. It's raining over there.
Sipping on their newts inside of a can of water or whatever.
God, and just that you see them, they're talking about what's being good, what's being bad, and then they want to be good, and they all want to have like a good adulthood, and that they don't understand. It's that purity of like, my life is dictated by being able to do the things I want to do and being a good person, and that they aren't marred by the fact that the world gets more complicated as you get older, and that's beautiful to see. That like, as an adult, you're watching and like, oh my god, that's so cute, and then you get shot in the heart by Miss Honey singing "When I Grow Up," and you're like, oh no. Because like, I literally, while I was watching it, I felt that way, where I'm just like, oh my god, not only I find this so pure, but I also just miss that like wonder, and like when you think, because like at whatever age, you still kind of think like, yeah, when I grow up, even though like, yeah, you're technically an adult now.
When she first says like, when I grow up, and like her entire moment, to me it felt more like, damn, she like in the story, she's never been able to grow up because she's been stuck in that situation. Her situation is almost like a Judge Frollo situation.
Yeah, she's like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Basically, we're like, I'm forcing you to work here until you die.
That's actually a really good analogy.
Seriously, I'm a terrible human being, but let me tell you why I'm not so terrible, because I provided you a job.
Yeah, you need to
can
empathize with me.
Exactly. Like, look at all the things that I'm doing, and like, you're the one not cooperating with me. I'm trying to make you just as good as like. Ma'am, you made coffins for every single kid in the school. Are you aware with this?
When she pulled that curtain and you see all the chokers, she's like, I've been busy. And
I thought the kids won at that point. When they all stood up, it's like, you don't have a chokey for all of us. And then she goes, yes, I do. And like, boom, boom, boom.
And that pulls together the fact that, like, two things. One, and I mean, this comes also with Tim Minchin's, like, kind of writing, that I honestly don't know the screenwriter of this thing, but a lot of it was about collective action, and that if you form a union and you know, powers that be, if they're
powers
only
and
one
numbers,
person, they can't, you know, they can't have full control of you, and that you all need to, everyone at the end of the day needs to agree with what they like, which is their utopia at the very end when Miss Honey's running everything. And so they're showing that like when Matilda shows up, she shows solidarity for other people, and then helps like this groundswell of a revolution, to the point where the kids are singing that like we're revolting children, which is a double entendre of like revolting is in gross, but also revolting is in revolution.
Exactly. It goes from what was her name? I forgot. Miss Pot.
Which one?
She was Miss Pot.
Miss Pot. Oh, wait, Angela Lansbury? What are you talking
Emma something.
Emma. Oh, Emma Thompson.
Yeah, she was Miss Pot something in the
Miss Pot?
Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I think.
she wasn't. No, that was Angela Lansbury, I think. Are you talking about the movie? The live action movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that shit.
Oh, no,
she
was.
That
yeah. I didn't see that shit.
Okay. I'm sorry.
My bad.
I
forgot her name.
Spoiler, we're going to talk about Glass Onion later, and Angela Lansbury's in it, and she was Miss Potts. so I was like, is that her bridge to Glass Onion?
No, I'm not trying to make a link. No. It's just because like when we first see her and she begins her song, first of all, they introduce her like a villain. They don't even show her face or anything until like it finally racks to like half of her face. And the first thing he does, she gets up on the desk and like tells everyone, like, I'm the one on top. I'm here. You're down there.
She has her like microphone that she can carry everywhere.
Exactly.
And, and she like makes everyone sing like in unison about how they're all garbage.
And they're all facing the cameras.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that.
They're all facing. It's like, I'm looking at you. We know you're here.
Yeah.
Scary as hell.
And that like, she's so comedically terrible, but in such a way that is not only infuriating, but you're rooting for everyone else, but it also feels like she's just impossible to defeat, you know, like in the beginning.
She how can I say, she believes herself impossible to defeat, which is why she just, even at the end, she still doesn't give up. Like nothing about her just gives up. It's like, just give up. Like, how can I say this? When they were first coming in and like they haven't revealed the multiple chokies yet, and she's just.
And she's all sweaty and mad.
Sweaty, brute. Like, I don't, like her face just looked dirty. It looked like she was like up to something all night. Who would have thought, right? And like the entire time, she just won't stinking budge. She doesn't want to, and these kids won't either.
And straight up moves that goalpost plenty when she's just like, let's do a spelling bee because I know you guys don't know how to spell. And it's just like actual good education taught them how to spell, and so she's like, well, no, I want, like, overall she's just like, I want you to lose. That's it. She's trying to build a system that will make them lose, and the fact that it's not working just makes her more and more angry, and not in the way of like, oh, I'll concede. It's like, no, I'm gonna do worse things to you.
That's what makes her a brick in the wall, dude.
Oh god. And especially the fact that like the only way to, because she's like, my way is the only way that works, you know. She's like, I am a successful human being, so therefore what I have done or what has led to my success will lead to your success, which isn't always true. No. And so for her to get her comeuppance is really just not even, there's no talk no jutsu. There's no like, I'm going to talk to you and we'll be friends at the end of this arc of my life. It's like straight up, you need to separate them from power, her in particular. And so then it's like, well, how do you do that? And so it's like, you scare them so much that they lose their mind. And that the two things that I like is, one, they brought back that she hates pigtails, but also two, that they have the reference to, first of all, they have her like write the chalk on the wall like a ghost is writing. Did you, like, I think, I don't remember if it was Quarter Crew or who I saw that like showed how that effect was done in the 98 movie. Did you see that? So this dude, I think it was this dude that does all these props. Like he shows you props on like TikTok and YouTube and stuff. And he showed that like for the original movie in 1996, they didn't have CGI to show how to draw chalk on a board. So what they did was they took a piece of chalk and then they hollowed out the middle and put in a magnet. And then behind the the wall of the chalkboard, they had another magnet. And then
that's
like
dope.
yeah, and then they had it like an outline so that it showed that like this is what you should be drawing and like when to
that
do
is
it.
so smart. So smart.
Yeah. So then, yeah, she writes on the chalkboard, of course, and then the chains come out as like a the ghost of the father. But at the same time, I think it's also a reference to the Ghost of Christmas Past.
It looked like a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah.
Like it really did. Fucking, I forgot her name again. Miss Honey is over here doing fucking barrel rolls, trying to like dodge all these moves and shit. I wouldn't want to teach there if that happened. I
wouldn't want to teach there at all.
No, that was the spirit of all the kids trying to like exact vengeance.
Yeah, if Miss Honey didn't know that Matilda has telekinesis, she'd probably be like, "Yep, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
Goodbye."
No, I'm out. No, thank you.
Yeah. And also for her character, so a small piece of trivia that I want to mention about Miss Honey is that she also was in Miss Marvel. She was her friend, like Miss Marvel's friend, and she was in Doctor Strange as that Miss Marvel because it's in that timeline they replaced.
Some may argue a better Captain Marvel.
Maybe. Oh, Captain Marvel, not Miss Marvel. I always keep anyway. But for her character to not only have the most beautiful singing voice I've ever heard, oh my god, but I love the fact that it also shows a part of this, like, if we look at it like this revolutionary spirit, that she's like, I would rather live in a shed on my own with no space, but it's mine and it's leaky and whatever, than even for a second think about living with my step-aunt that's like abusing me.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's the sad situation of the little bit that I have now is better than the nothing that I could become if I go into the other direction or anything like that, which makes her situation even worse.
It's so sad.
Because she's just stuck here. She's just trying to be the best person that she can. The many times that she tries to, like, how can I say, not even take control, but just to be like, hey, miss, you're going a little insano here.
You can't do that.
Just being shot down immediately, like constantly, immediately. Just trying to enforce the fact it's like, you're lucky to be here. Shut up. Let me deal with these kids.
And it's not only effective, like there's a psychological term called learned helplessness, which is that you learn that like you're basically, this is the only thing you can do. There's no reason to go for help because it won't matter. But also that we see that she's basically the product of, if you're influenced by Miss Trunchbull your entire childhood till you're an adult, you don't want to do anything else. And while she's singing that song about like, this is enough for me, like Matilda's just like, what are you no, that's stupid, like you need to fight back. Like she potentially killed your father, like this, I would be so mad.
My name is Matilda and I'm better off than you. What the hell's going on?
Yeah,
like,
you're, oh my god, you're right.
Like, I'm the lead, but are you okay?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Holy shit.
So yeah, for her to come in and kind of shake up her life in such a way to show that like, you don't need to deal with this. This shouldn't be the status quo, and that we can do something different. And for her to have been influenced so much by books, you know, like she's like, oh, this week I read, what was it, like War and Peace and Moby Dick, and she like lists off basically the entire curriculum for every high school student.
He was just it's like, I think we need to bring her, like, can we move her up like, a little bit, like,
it's
seriously?
like, she's exceptional. It's like, there are no exceptions.
There are no exceptions, there are whims.
And I love that she pulls a Goodwill Hunting when she just goes over. It's like, I just solved the simple equation, and then all of its subsequent forms is like, bruh, come on.
So she starts off as like, I saw the problem and I simplified it.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean you simplified it? Are you gonna solve it? It just does. It's like, what the holy goddamn.
And it's similar to the entire situation that like technically the problem that they're in is a systemic issue of this one lady getting into power that's built on an entire history of terrible things. And she simplified it to, don't give her power. Like simplified it to, let's rebel right now and get rid of her forever. So,
righting the wrongs. Righting the wrongs. There's an entire arc between her and her family righting wrongs. Her family just does her wrong the entire fucking time.
Oh my god,
The entire time. Matilda does these little pranks where, like I said, colors her dad's hair green, like hyper glues like his hat on his head, and like
them trying to pull it off his head. I don't know why I love that kind of trope where they're like grabbing it, and he's holding it, of course. But
yeah, it's so stinking good. And just for how the entire time, how can I say this? And I was afraid of this.
Yeah.
Where like, oh my God, she just did that to her dad, and like she's feeling no remorse. She's like, oh, good, deserved. You hear that, audience? We did a good thing there.
Yeah, exactly. Abuse your parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just for at the end to be like, this wasn't even what I was trying to do wasn't right. Let me make it right.
Yeah, like at the very end. Yeah.
This motherfucker, the dad, he smiles.
Yeah.
The first genuine smile to his daughter.
You mean the boy, right? Yeah.
The boy, sorry, the boy.
Yeah,
his first genuine smile as he leaves her forever.
Yeah.
Too. It goes like, and like he's almost like he's almost pogging over that little thing. And I feel like Matilda learns a nice, valuable lesson that even maybe hurt people type thing. It's like you've been a gremlin your entire life, my man. I'm sorry. Let me remove that.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that children don't go away from this. I actually am curious what audience of children would really enjoy this, because it really has so much on the bone for like adults, you know. Yeah, like it's so much of the symbolism is just like, I get this, I know where it's coming from, and I know why it's happening. Yeah, but especially for them, yeah, at the very end when they're like, oh, we need to flee to Spain because I screwed over some mafia members, that he's just like, well, we don't have room in the car, so I guess it'd be fine if she stayed. And it's like an excuse, of course. Like, you can feel it.
He had to find an excuse where he comes up on top a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah,
which is like, come on.
Well, it's not like I like you, Baka. Like, you know. Yeah. It's just like he's trying to be like save face of just like, well, you know, I don't like anybody and all this stuff, and I'm just out for me. But then the one thing that he does that's charitable, he has to like mar with like, oh, well, you know, we don't have much room, so whatever. Yeah. And it kind of works out. And that the only time that he ever does something nice is something where the solution is the easiest thing.
The easiest for him, especially. For him, especially. Like, it's like, oh, I could just you got her? And like, it just turns around and leaves. Like, what? He got off really easy, technically.
Well, yeah, and that like, even though he technically doesn't have the words to say that like he's trying to be nice, or that he's like that he is doing a good thing,
that he even tried.
Yeah, exactly. And that she's just like, I get what you did. Takes the hat off, and like you see the like glue pull off of his scalp, and it's gross. Yeah, but it's also, he's just like, oh, thanks. And then he leaves, and it's
shimmies the hell away from her.
And that's a nice moment. And then we see after that like all the kids are now in the utopic school where they can just learn whatever they want to, and they can have a good time and like pursue whatever their passions are. It's all nice and bright and fun. So yeah.
Little does she know, she turned that school into Logan's Run. It's a utopia, but now that she's gone, things are gonna run a little bit differently.
There's a new class system. And they have that adorable scene of them like reading books and hanging out and being mother-daughter. And it's so nice.
Good. That school has never seen that much sunlight. like ever, dude. It's been, you know how they say that all of British land is like just muggy. Just,
it's all overcast.
All overcast. Ever since Matilda took over that place, sunshine and beautiful rainbows and whatnot.
Beautiful. And yeah, we have a prime moment of how overcast it is when they're doing that like what is it called? The like obstacle course.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, that obstacle course looked awful, and the fact that they were wearing potato sacks or something.
Basically,
like just running around and like going through this thing while she's in her like golf cart or whatever, spraying mud on these kids. There's a shot, I felt bad for a kid.
Oh God.
Some adult threw mud in that kid's face, dude. It looked like a bucket, and they just went. And like, all right, and action. It looked awful for that kid.
There's live ammunition. She just press a button and an explosion would go off.
Yeah.
Man, and that's what I love about the movie, and why I would be able to recommend it to anybody, is that like not only it has like those deep core moments where you're just like, oh, as a child, wow, I forgot what being a child's like, but also the fact that like it has a lot of fun with how terrible it makes these characters feel, and like how awful the moment is. That like you can do nothing but laugh and be like, this is hilarious and ridiculous.
And just how relatable it is too. This in a world where people feel like things are not not being fair, where we're like, oh, maybe the solution is to come together and like find a solution.
Yeah.
Push back a little bit, you know, do anything, right? No, we don't want to get blown up and be put in these coffins with like knives jetting out of it and whatnot. Maybe this totalitarian control that you have in here with your big iron boots. Literally, she has giant iron stinking combat boots. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
It's a little too much in your face sometimes, but just enough to be like, okay, I get it, fine.
Yeah, but oh god, the editing is so good that like you could see they took so much, like they were enjoying it so much that they put like little sound effects whenever something happened, like a ding or whatever.
Yes.
It's very like Edgar Wright-esque, where you just have like the little moments that you're just like, man, this is just a joy to watch. And I was surprised because I legitimately kept pausing it to like go to the bathroom or something. And whenever I'd come back, I'd be like, oh my god, yeah, no, so much has happened, and I'm barely halfway through the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's a nice, good, fun ride. How can I say? You were going back to the whole like, is this movie for kids?
Yeah.
I would say you can bring a kid to a movie in this.
Sure.
I think it has a lot more symbolism, more how can I say, more adult type vibes.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, I think the kids will enjoy the music for sure and the relatability. I think it stops being a kids show as soon as the dad is like, but it's a boy. But my balloon says boy because like the entire like hospital scene, it felt like it was shot inside of the Cat in the Hat set.
Yeah.
Where everything is like just obnoxious bright colors,
Yeah.
and like the doctor's like, I love bringing life into this world.
Oh yeah.
No matter how dark it gets for them, it's like okay, dude. It's like, hell yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, God, like, there's so much that's put into all the visuals, but especially that beginning where it starts off as like, this is how weird this shit's gonna get. Where not only, they're in this like colorful void of a hospital, but also that the very first shot you see is this baby that like has After Effects plugin of like halo around them, and the parents have like halos behind them, and it's just beautiful and immaculate. And then you cut to Matilda's family, are just like, no, I'm not pregnant.
I'm not pregnant. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Listen,
what are you, stupid?
I may have had a burger or two, but like I ain't pregnant. And like, that entire scene just gets me. I don't know why.
It categorizes them that they're so stubborn and they won't listen to any sort of authority whatsoever. Yeah.
They won't even listen to their own bodies. They won't.
You're right,
to me, they refuse to go to the hospital to that up until that point.
Yeah.
Like, damn, dude. Damn.
Yeah.
Just damn.
So the one last piece of trivia that I wanted to mention,
yes, please,
is that we technically have talked about Emma Thompson on this channel before. Do you remember? Huh?
Was she in Emma Thompson sounds very, very familiar.
Yeah, she was actually in a short film that was done about like I think civil disobedience that was done by I'm trying to remember the guy's full name, but Alexander, who came on and did an interview with us. Do you remember that? Where we did an interview, I think 2 years ago. And we were talking about like working with Emma Thompson, and that she actually is incredibly cool. Because they wanted to make a short film about the state of the UK and how like everything was kind of messed up. And it took place in like a parliament building in London. That's the capital. And so she actually, they asked her if she would participate, and she is one of the main characters and is super cool. And apparently, she just they were like, oh, do you need us to send a car or anything? She's like, no, I'll take the train, it's fine. Like, was just super chill about the whole thing.
What a good, decent human beings out there. They're amazing. There's still decent actors out there. Danny Trejo, he's one of them apparently. He just goes to student sets apparently and just works for free half the time. And just experience film set life, which is awesome. Like, good for them. Or I forgot her name from Everything Everywhere at Once, where you told me she stays during scenes where she's not even needed.
Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Just to stay there and learn. It's so cool. We need more people like that.
Exactly. And so I'll have the interview in the links down below. It was a really great interview we did with this up and coming actor who's super cool, and it was really, really enjoyable. But also that Jamie Lee Curtis happened to also be in another movie called Knives Out, which got a sequel that we're going to talk about next.
Oh my gosh, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Be good. Don't oversalt your popcorn. Dude, your blood results are not.